Hello everybody, this video is going to talk about music class in the school year of 2020 to 2021 and is going to address the things that will stay the same and the things that will be different in music class. In other words, this is kind of your rundown of what to expect in music class this year and see the changes that are going to be implemented due to everything going on right now. But before we get to that, we're first going to talk about things that will stay the same this year. Number one, we are still going to cover the same topics that we have in the past. That includes things like reading notes off the staff, writing and reading rhythms, learning about different composers. All the things that we've learned about in the past are still going to be our curriculum this year. In fact, some of the things we might even have more time to dive into, like composers and learning about different times in music history. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on there. We're also still going to find ways to create music. Now, it may need to be a little different based on guidelines that we have this year, but we're definitely still going to find ways to create music both individually and together. A lot of that will be through different websites and different apps that I've found. And they're going to be a lot of fun and very interesting, and I think you're going to really enjoy that this year. We're also still going to mix emotions in music. One of my favorite things about music class is that we get a lot of opportunities to talk about how we feel when we listen to music, and also what feelings might have gone into the piece or songs that we're listening to. So, for example, we might still talk about why when we hear a song it makes us feel happy or sad, or why when we hear a song it makes us want to dance around, or maybe we hear one that makes us want to go to sleep. We'll still talk about a lot of the ways that music can be implemented into our daily life. That's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of that, most importantly, we are still going to have a lot of fun in music class. Yes, things will be a little different, but the fun in music will always stay the same, and I promise you, you will still have fun in music class this year. Now, here are some of the things that are going to be just a little different this year. Singing. Unfortunately, due to some guidelines, we are not able to sing indoors at the start of this year. I'm really hoping that that can change, but at least at the start of this year, when we are singing, we're going to sing outside. I will give your classes directions for that when we actually start doing that. And if you are remote learning at this time, you can sing wherever you want in your house, so that's fine with me. But singing at school itself will be just a little different. And again, I'll go over those guidelines a little more in the future once we're actually doing it. Instruments. You know, if you've been in my music class in the past, I like using instruments with all my students and that we share a lot of them. So because of that, instruments are going to be a little different this year. You're not going to be playing them as much. I still want to get you playing them as much as I possibly can. The only thing is, every time we use the instruments, they're going to need to be cleaned and sanitized just to make sure that everyone is safe every single time we use them. So instruments won't be used quite as much, but we can also find ways to be creative with that. Maybe we'll construct our own instruments, or we'll make some out of new materials. Whatever it is, we'll find new ways to use instruments this year. Also, group projects. This is more for our middle school students. We're not going to be doing nearly as many group projects as we have in the past, just because we want to make sure that we're staying safe and making sure that everyone has their own space. Our games that we've played in the past will be different because a lot of our games involve being very close to one another and moving around a lot. We're going to be kind of pivoting a little bit just to make sure that we're safe and kind of on that with our movements or our dances that we have in class. Again, we're going to make sure that we're staying as safe as possible, so whenever we do anything that's movement related, everyone will be spread out, everyone will have their own space. We might be even doing that outside just to make sure that we have extra safety as much as possible. And again, all of these things are subject to change. This is just the start of the year. It may go a little longer than we think, it may be even shorter than we think, but these are some of the changes that you might see throughout the year. Now, here are my goals for the year, and I want these to be your goals for the school year as well. Number one, we still want to cover all the subjects that we usually would. As I said at the start, one of the things that stays the same is that you'll still be talking about a lot of the same topics. We're still going to cover all the subjects that we would in a normal school year, and we're going to make sure that you learn about all the things that I want you to learn about, and it's going to be fun. Number two, we want to find new creative ways to create music. Like I said, one of the changes that we're going to have is how we create music. One of the things staying the same is we're still going to create music. So together, we're going to find new and creative ways to go about that. And number three, one of my big goals is that music will be creative, welcoming, and fun for all students. So we're still going to be creative together. We're still going to welcome each other. We're going to be very kind to one another. And like I said, we're still going to have a lot of fun in music class. If you have any questions about anything that's changing or what to expect for the music class this year, you can email Mr. Van Dzura at kvanzura@sfnh.org, or you can scroll down to the bottom of the music website. There's a contact sheet there. I will be happy to answer any questions you have, and I look forward to working with all of you this year.